Hi guys, it's Sheila. Welcome to behind the scenes of today's episode of It's All in My Headset. We are at MCM Comic Con to, as I said, do a live episode with a very special guest today. You're going to come with me, you're going to follow me around the whole day, and we're going to have some fun. So fun fact about me is that I have seen Interview the Vampire, both season 1 and season 2, probably over 50 times now.
Are you schizophrenic, Louis?
No.
I heard your heart stamping!
Look at my Lestat badge. Look at that. Wait, that's naughty actually. That's got a swear word on it. Don't look at that. But I found out that they were doing, because the season 3 is coming out, it's called the Vampire Lestat. They were doing a stamp rally where you get loads of prizes if you go to each different store. I got it. Look at that, Lestat. Hell yeah, should we have a look inside? You'll see the special interest is really coming out here. Now this was the thing that I was most excited about. This is a keyring for the Vampire Lestat little album with his tracks. He's currently releasing music on Spotify.
We're not getting paid.
This is not sponsored, but AMC, if you would like to sponsor me, I am so excited to be here. Comic Con is always crazy, always busy, but it is like the best time. I'm going to be going on stage literally in 5 minutes to speak to Hollie Bennett from Natural 6, all about her journey with actual D&D play, ADHD, dyslexia, all of these really important topics. I'm also going to get a snack. Testing. Oh. Hi guys, hello, I'm Sheila. Nice to meet you. Hello. Welcome to a very special live episode of It's All in My Headset. We are a podcast that focuses on raising awareness of mental health within the gaming industry, from the ones that play the games to the ones that are behind, some of the loved people and characters that we know. We are also partnered with Safe in Our World. They're a mental health charity that focus on raising awareness in the industry as well, and you can check out more at safeinourworld.org. As I said, I'm Sheila. I'm a senior therapist, and I'm also a massive nerd, and I'm joined today
You're
by...
recently a senior therapist.
I'm recently a senior... I got promoted recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For today's very first live episode, we have a remarkable guest. Hollie Bennett has carved a bold, brave, and beautiful non-linear path, from delivering babies to delivering some of the most iconic gaming content of the last decade. Her journey to becoming the gaming industry veteran we see today is inspiring. Her recent adventures are swinging her sword as Elowen in Natural 6, a D&D actual play.
Thank you.
A D&D actual play that launched in 2023. I see we've got some Natural 6 fans over there. What started as a leap into the unknown, her first real dive into Dungeons & Dragons quickly became a space where she blended vulnerability, curiosity, and that signature Hollie fire we love. Everybody, can we give a big round of applause to the amazing Hollie Bennett?
Can you write my LinkedIn for me?
Yes, I will write your LinkedIn.
Great,
yes,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Only charge a hug, basically.
Fair. A fair price.
A fair price. How are you feeling? Because you just came from the meet and greet.
No, I feel really good. It's actually really weird for us. We normally do MCM over a couple of days, so it's kind of weird to be condensing everything into a single day.
Yeah.
But we've been kind of busy, so we weren't able to commit to the full weekend this time around.
Okay.
So it's kind of do as much as we can. A bit like a shark. If you stop swimming, I'll die.
Okay, right.
Just to keep moving. Just to keep moving until I can go to bed tonight.
And you have your show tonight.
We do. So yeah, we're doing a live show this evening at 6:30 till 8, not till 9 p.m. like I told McIntyre, who just freaked out because he thought he had to write another hour of content now. He does not. I was wrong, which doesn't happen very often.
We're going to dive right in, and I actually want to know a little bit more about your journey into D&D actual play. What brought you to it?
Oh my god, sliding doors. It's a complete sliding doors moment. And for as much as I'm a relatively straight-laced, kind of black and white person, I'm not the most flexible, I really believe in fate. I believe everything happens for a reason. You just can't see it at the time. So to look back and go, yeah, if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't get that. So we had just come out of, we were coming out of COVID, and I was doing that peak millennial thing of cancelling plans last minute to just rot in bed instead.
Yeah, bacon bread.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I've been invited to this house party for a friend. I'm going. I said I'm going to go. I, again, almost bailed, and I was like, no, this is good for you to go see your friends and go out. So got to his house party. I've known Aoife Wilson for years. We've been in the games industry.
So even before Natural 6?
Oh, Aoife and I have literally travelled the world on press trips together.
Oh my god,
but it's strange. We were industry colleagues, but we weren't friends. Because we worked for different companies and we just didn't hang out.
Yeah.
Which is different now. We're sick of each other. But we went to his house party, and a few people would be there, and I was chatting with Aoife and a lovely, incredible actor called David Menken in the kitchen, and this guy shuffles over and he's like, oh my god, I'm a big fan of your work that you used to do on PlayStation Access. And I was like, oh, cool, it's lovely to meet you. Like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm an actor. I'm like, oh, what are you in? He's like, oh, I'm going to be Clive Rossfield in Final Fantasy 16. I was like, oh my god. And he's like, you're also a massive Final Fantasy 8 fan? I'm a Final Fantasy 8 fan. And then the next morning, I got a DM from Ben. And it was like, hey, me and a couple of friends are thinking about playing D&D, a home game, not an actual play series. Do you want to join? I think I said something like, I need to say yes to more things. Because I'm also a big believer in lightning doesn't strike twice.
Oh, interesting.
And the idea is if an opportunity presents itself, and I had this actually with a job, I turned down a job at CD Projekt Red. I was kind of sad that I turned it down, like, whatever. And then a week later they messaged me like, no, it has to be you, what do you want? And I was like, that's lightning, it just struck twice.
I have to.
Like, the universe is like, bitch, you sure? I'm weirdly, out of our friendship group, the only one that's never played D&D. And in fact, my partner, Lorna, Tam, I'm pointing to you all, play D&D in my fucking kitchen, and I don't play.
We would be sat in her kitchen playing D&D. Hollie would be.
I don't play D&D. And it was mad that I hadn't. And I was like, come on, I would love to try it. This is it. And then we all met for the first time, and we got on so well. You know when you have instant connection with people?
Yeah.
Doug wasn't there because he lives slightly further away. So there was the five of us. Harry doesn't drink, and we had 5 bottles of rosé. By the time we left that pub, we were going to have a
You were best friends.
We were like, we're all best friends. This feels right. We should kickstart this.
Oh wow, so it was literally just like from that night of feeling like you met your tribe, you were like, we can make this.
Harry turned up with like a hand-drawn map of Reliquia. So the map we have now that we use in our game, which was done by Eve's World Building, was actually based on Harry's original sketch. And he turned up with like 2 pages of A4 paper with the outline of the story on it, and like some little snippets of like, religious lore and stuff like that. And we were like, this could be good.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, why don't we just turn this into a let's play actual play series? And that's how it started.
Quite interesting that it was almost like you were, actual travelers or adventurers in the wilderness, finding together, getting drunk, and then being like, we should fight a dragon! Like, let's
It's literally that. It's really hard to make friends in your 30s. You just don't. It's actually really difficult. We had an interview actually with a journalist this morning, and this idea of, kind of what you get out of D&D, and that was that thing of like, we're not friends because it's more than that, and you can't quite place it. It's not family because we're not blood related, thank God. But there is this weird special place, and I think Harry said it. Because obviously we all went to Ben's wedding.
Yeah.
We all sat there, it was lovely, and Harry's like, it's really strange to me that you weren't at my wedding, but we weren't friends. He's like, we're so close, it's actually quite sad that you weren't at my wedding. And so it's you've now got these 5 best friends, and we sat down a couple of weeks before the Kickstarter went live and said, are you all in?
So I guess I'm really curious then, is like, you went from not playing D&D at all, kind of seeing it from the outside. How did you feel coming into it? Because it was new to you, you've met this group of people, then now you're doing a Kickstarter. I'm kind of interested in how your perception and connection with D&D has changed.
It's different, and you have to accept that I am playing D&D to make a show that is entertainment. So there's a very fine line that we walk of, it is a home game and it feels like a home game, but you're also making a show. So you can't ever fully relax into, I can make mistakes or I can...
Oh, that's really interesting.
You're very, very aware that you're trying to make a professional show that does essentially ask people for money to survive. We ask them for Patreon. So then when you just look like you don't know the rules, can look like you don't care.
Is that how you feel like it can be perceived?
So you're trying to kind of learn something, but anyone who's played D&D knows learning D&D comes from playing.
Yeah.
But if this is your first time playing, I'm learning in front of people. Episode 1's got like 500,000 views, and I'm still learning how to even navigate the bloody sheet. And even things like, so I have input-based dyslexia. So it takes me a while, I can read something and I can understand it, but the result that comes out of me is different. So I can read, for example, on an attack, I have a +6 to hit, but my brain will do something different with that. And then you have that like, oh my God, this is so scary. I must look like I don't know what I'm doing.
I suppose I can hear that the pressure of wanting to make a good show, you know, you're with other people around you, you're kind of using that companionship to really bring each other through it, and then you're also navigating with a learning disability. I mean, how has your confidence grown from doing that?
It's weird, you become more aware of it, and I actually got ADHD diagnosed during Natural 6. I remember shaking so bad. I've been quite lucky, I've never suffered with anxiety. I did on these medications, and I remember essentially you take them in the morning, and by about 10 a.m. I'm in this state of fight or flight until the drugs really wear off in the evening.
Because of the meds?
Because of the meds. It was horrendous. And I remember we were getting ready to film, I was shaking so bad I had to ask Doug's wife Marianne to do my shirt up for me.
Oh my God,
like,
Hollie.
and you're then trying to film. You're very conscious of something like Natural 6, that you want to give value to what you're doing, especially when you play with very talented D&D players, actors, storytellers. So you want to make sure that you are showing them that you're worth having, like you should be here. So you kind of have this pressure. And then there was that anxiety of like, if it was an episode where maybe I didn't do much, or I didn't say anything fun or witty, or I don't know, just something didn't land the way I wanted, it was then with the anxiety, it was hell upon it.
How did you manage that? What was the kind of coping strategies you had to implement?
For that was quite simple. I had to get off the meds. In fact, the person whose house party I went to, I met them at another party and they were like, get off that medication. Changed it, it's fine now. But there are times, even now, I think there was a recent episode, actually I think it's the episode that airs on Tuesday. I didn't have a good episode. I just didn't. It was our first day in the new studio, so we've just gone independent and got our studio. And it's a lot, like the rest of the team hadn't even seen the studio. So everyone's excited. And we had some like friends over as well to see the studio. And it was all super, super intense. Got to the table. And I don't do well in episodes or sessions where you go to lots of different places. I like to get my feet under the table and understand it.
Do you feel like that's linked to like the ADHD aspects of it, or just not necessarily?
I just can't tell it. I think maybe because I'm not an actor, I can't react to scenes as quickly as they can. So I am better when I'm allowed to get to know a space and a place, and I can lean into it. This episode moved a little bit, and I just remember it was horrible. Like I was like, that was a shit episode. I did really badly. I didn't contribute anything. Like you genuinely go home and have like a mini breakdown, and then you're like, okay, well, got work tomorrow. Like, gotta get on with it.
That must be really challenging. You're like navigating that, and and you've also got. It's not like you go, okay, it's gonna be this long until the next episode. It's like usually you're having to go back in again. You're gonna do it again. It's like I can imagine the.
Yeah, and then you're trying to balance. You don't want to be a burden, so you don't want to have to like keep messaging your poor DM, being like, I need this, I need that, because what you don't want then is your DM having to make extra work for himself to give you stuff to pacify you. I think I had a comment. I think it might have been the most recent Action Surge. I believe Harry said, Doug's fantastic because Doug will sit for episodes after episodes with nothing really happening for his character. He's the most patient man at work. And my character just had like a side arc. And I remember just going home and thinking to myself, that's because you weren't patient.
That's how you felt?
And I was like, so I only had to have, the DM had to write me a side quest because I was needy and not patient, which is not true. But that is where your brain goes. And it is because you have to continuously analyze yourself and hold yourself to a standard. I cannot tell you how talented the actors are that I work with. And I can see why a lot of actual plays are actors. I am not. I've never played D&D, and I'm not an actor. So you have that pressure to always perform at their level. So you are then far more critical when you feel like you haven't. Where I think as actors, they're far more confident going, that's fine. Different scenes, different days, different reactions. I'm going, no, I have to always be at that level.
But what I think is really inspiring, and what you can see, I'm sure others will agree that you can see through the episodes, is the fact that your confidence and resilience has grown. I mean, you're around, as you said, actors who maybe have been in the industry doing performance for a longer time, but you are doing it and you are smashing it, and I think people really relate to someone who was new to D&D, who maybe doesn't have the experience. You give a sense of comfortability for those that are new to Dungeons & Dragons, and I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah, and it's been absolutely incredible. In fact, I found a local group in West London, and I literally play pretty much every Tuesday. And it's like different DM, different one shot, different character. Although I just take Elowen every time now, but a different class, because I haven't got time to write a new character sheet every week. And I remember doing my first session, not with Natural 6, and I was the Ben Stark. Like, I was witty and funny and charismatic, and I was like, okay, I actually can fucking do it. Like, I actually can. I played a swashbuckling rogue. I played Eden
great.
Weirdly. And it was amazing, and I was like, no, actually, when you take a step back, I know how D&D works. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. It's just, I'm playing a very, very different version.
Yes.
I'm making entertainment.
Yes.
It is not the same as, well, let's play D&D. Although actually, we are in a game together.
We are.
Where my partner is the DM.
Yep.
I was a fucking nightmare. Because I play in McIntyre's world, I rolled for this. I'm gonna roll perception on that. Can I? And my boyfriend was like, you've revealed a bunch of secrets. I didn't think we'd
Now
get
you
to
know
for
what
like
to do.
10 episodes. Great, thanks. Sorry, babe. So I'm a bit of a monster. But yeah, you do realize you take a step back, but that's who I am as a person, even career-wise. I'm very...
Sure. And I think that, in Dungeons and Dragons in general, at least in Natural 6, you're able to, I think actually D&D, you're able to challenge yourself, aren't you? You're really able to sometimes, not even intentionally, bring up experiences, feelings, emotions, and challenge cognitions that you've had. And I actually wanted to ask a little bit about Elowen more in detail, because we discussed previously that usually when you make your first D&D character, there is always a sense of bringing yourself into that character. We always do it. Okay, we always do it. I think my first ever D&D character was a Rakshasa tiefling barbarian, because I was like, well, I'm fiery and I'm this. And, you then, as you get more confident, you start going out your comfort zone, right? Tell me about Elowen, that first creation of her. Do you feel like there was a connection between you and Elowen when you were creating her? Tell me all about it.
So I have a very kind of standard character that I create and play in nearly every RPG ever. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you'll probably understand this. I don't like a single main female lead in a Final Fantasy game, because I don't like the idea that women get relegated to usually white mage. You're usually the healer, so you can't hit hard, which annoys the fuck out of me, and you need saving. But there's always these secondary female characters that don't. The Lulus, the Quistuses, they're the ones I love so much. I have no desire to be the main character. I love being that strong secondary character. I absolutely love that. I wanted to make that. That's kind of what Elowen is. And there is a manga I read when I was much, much younger, Revolution Girl Yutina. And on one of the first pages, like page 5 or 6, she's playing basketball and she says, I don't want to be a princess, I want to be the prince, I don't want to be saved.
Ooh.
And I was like, that's Elowen.
Very interesting.
Actually, that particular page is what I sent to my DM. And I was like, this is what Elowen is. She doesn't want to be saved. She's strong, she's strong-willed, she's very strong-minded. And then the kind of experiences she had as a character actually made her isolated. And a lot of what her growth has been to warm back up to people, to remember what it's like to not have to be alone to survive. Which is the contrast to my character, which is she's from an incredibly loving family. She's the youngest, just 5 older brothers. Her parents love her, but she essentially chose to leave it and ended up being incredibly isolated.
Wow.
And then that's kind of her journey. But yeah, she is hit first, ask questions later, and if you need to ask questions, just hit them again.
But I find that really interesting, this connection that you had to someone who didn't have to be saved, as you said, and is able to build up their confidence. I feel like that very much is representative of what you did when you entered Natural 6. Do you not see that? You weren't saved, you had to navigate it on your own. You now
it's a horrendous player character synergy. Our table is, so D&D we described as therapy for millennials.
Yes.
I have never had to face so much about myself as I do at D&D.
Can you give us an example of maybe something that might come up from...
Yes, I don't like being vulnerable. I do not like being emotionally vulnerable. I will just shut down. I'll just actually leave. I have no issues with removing myself from a place or space if I feel emotionally vulnerable. That's kind of the fucking point of storytelling. And there are times where I am wanting to say or do something, and I am actually in my head going, no, you have to say that. You have to do this. That's growth. You need to push yourself. And that has been wild. And I think it's been tough, especially for our DM. our DM has to navigate 5 very different personalities and what those 5 personalities need in order for him to help us tell the best story. And that's been one of the things for him has been, right, Hollie is a very strong person. She doesn't like being embarrassed, for example. I don't like being laughed at. So I will not put myself in that position. But sometimes you need to be. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable.
What makes you feel uncomfortable is usually like the best place for growth. And I feel like, you can see again that transformation. I mean, you're sitting on a live stage talking about your mental health and talking about, difficulties and challenges that you've had in the profession that you do. I would say that's pretty vulnerable.
It is, and one of the things I have really, really enjoyed is when you do get to talk about this, it's almost like you give people a peek at the decisions you chose to make. I actually have a show on our Patreon called Ellie's Diary, where I essentially talk about the things that I noticed, saw, felt, said, and did in that episode. And it's a great place where there's been a couple of times where I think you can even hear my voice crack, where I'm talking about how that made me feel or where I felt I didn't get it right or what I wish I had done. And it's like you can unpack it so that you can put it to bed.
Oh, wow. So you're really bringing...
The Ellie's Diary stuff, I'll absolutely be like, I really felt like I let everybody down, I wanted to do this, and I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't, and you get to actually explore it. But I like doing that because the character isn't 2D, but if you can see the reason I made decisions, I feel like it helps understand the character better. So I have no issue talking about this stuff in environments like this.
Okay.
It feels like I'm doing something.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Like, because we're talking about it, maybe it's relatable, or maybe somebody else can learn something from it. So that doesn't make it feel as vulnerable for me. It's professional, I suppose, in that sense.
And I suppose those challenges and areas of uncomfortability that you've been able to address with Elowen and with Natural Six, do you find that any of that is also transferring outside of Natural Six?
It's so weird because actually the character, and everyone at the table has said it now, the character is so you, it doesn't, because that's you anyway. That is you, that is who you are. If anything, I'm just, the people I work with, people I do Natural Six with, I love them so much that there are times you're like, I have to say what I'm thinking, or I have to make myself vulnerable because they need that. Like, they deserve the truth, or they deserve me to not just shut down and not say what I'm thinking. So you do kind of push yourself to be like, no, they're asking you what's wrong. Say what's wrong, don't just go, no, I'm nothing, I'm fine. So it does, the friendship challenges you to kind of challenge yourself.
And I suppose that builds that connection with them as well. I mean, you're going through actual, combat and difficult, quests and things, and that's going to bring you all together closer.
I mean, we're crying. Like, there are times where there's a couple of episodes now where, I'm not a crier. I don't like crying. We're all bawling at the table. And that's more of a comment on the safe space that you create. And I think if you want D&D, and a lot of people want those experiences that we have at our table, and that places like Critical Role, you go, that's what I want D&D to be. That only exists if you have created the safe space at your table.
Ooh, okay.
So your table has to be a place where you feel trusted and respected. And it has to go in every direction. So the moment that you feel like someone at that table can't be trusted with your emotions, or is just here to kill everybody, or the DM is just trying to wind you up, or you've got that one player that only wants to make it a sex thing, and you're like, oh, the jokes, and you're like, oh, I was trying to tell a story. You need to all be at the same place and to create a safe space where you can feel that you will be respected if you choose to be vulnerable.
I think that's a really wonderful reflection, and I think a lot of people that play D&D could probably take a lot from that, right? Is that creating a safe space is vital in building trust and rapport to be able to explore, very vulnerable emotions and things that might come up from other people that have their own backgrounds about their characters, which is incredible. I mean, I suppose that leads on to my next question about, you are in the public eye. Elowen, as you said, is part of that Natural Six performance, and there is an aspect of balancing your own mental health and well-being whilst navigating that. How has that journey been for you? Could you tell me what that's like in doing that?
Fucking terrible. I work 2 full-time jobs, only one of them pays me. This is the different thing for us, which is, at the end of the day, Natural Six is a business. We are running a small business. Because of my background, what I do for a living, a lot of the behind the scenes is stuff that falls to me to manage. And it is not fallen to me because they are dismissive, that's not fair. It is simply because it makes the most sense for my skill set. That is where I am best, which is behind the scenes, building, shaping, growing. I'm great at the paperwork, contracting, all of that. That's what I do. It is so much work. I work every single day. During the week, I genuinely do work. I start work at 9 a.m. and I do finish work at about midnight.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And I mean this every day.
Oh my gosh.
And then the weekends, I'll usually need at least one full day of work to catch up on natural 6. That's building a business though. And we love what we're doing so much. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to get. It's the best thing I've ever done and I don't regret it. When you talk about, oh, do you look after mental health? The reality is no, because I'm putting everything into this thing. Is it healthy? No. Would I recommend anyone does it? Absolutely not. Would I change it? No, because I want and I believe in what we're doing so much that is the idea that I've given so much of myself to something, maybe at a detriment if I'm not careful, but it is because I believe in its end goal. It is not going to be like this forever. But if I don't give it everything I've got, I haven't given this the best shot of surviving. But yeah, I'm not the best at it, and I wouldn't recommend anyone does what I'm doing. Actually, if anything, those days at the table where you're storytelling and you're exploring and you're being vulnerable and you're creating something together are the days you then live for.
Do you feel like that's almost like a little bit of restore and recuperation when you're actually then allowing to let it all go at the table?
Because there's nothing else but being at the table. I can't be answering emails and doing contracts and worrying about assets and uploads. I'm playing, I'm in Reliquie, I am Elowen for the next 4 hours. It's lovely. So you just get to, phone goes on airplane mode, the door gets closed, I'm like, for the next 4 hours, I get to fully commit to something. And even we'll say it, if we have to go quite a while between filming, everyone is like, the energy when we turn back is feral, because it's like, we have missed each other and we've missed the world. And it is just the most wonderful feeling. It's like always slipping into something cozy and warm. And when you're not with it for a while, God, you really miss it.
Wow. So it's almost like that work ethic we were talking about.
Yeah, so I put up an Instagram reel on my Instagram stories last night that was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I know whatever it is given me an incredible work ethic.
Which I think is amazing, but also it sounds like that's really pushing you forward in the sense of, you're creating, you're building. I mean, I hope that you do take a break because it sounds like you're working non-stop. But this release that you get to be with your friends and being able to then, have real fun, it sounds like it's worth it.
I get to be creative. And I think that's the thing I love the most, because when someone like me, who is very structured and I'm very organized and I'm very type A, there is a creative freedom that I won't find anywhere else, and that I love it so much. I'm a terrible daydreamer for somebody who is incredibly high up in corporate comms. That's what I do for a living. I'm a terrible daydreamer. I live in that world of Reliquie non-stop in my head. I mean, I started writing a lot. Like I'm dyslexic, as I said earlier. I used to hate writing. I used to be really scared of writing. And I started writing little bits. Because Harry would ask us for stuff. He'd like, I need you to send me 5 memories. And I knew exactly what they were. And then I had to write them down. And I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And I started writing a bit more. And then actually I started publishing stories on Patreon. For our Patreon. And if you go back and look at some of the older ones and some of the new ones, I can see myself getting better. And I've just loved the creative outlet. And actually, that makes me feel fed and nourished in a way I didn't know I needed.
Well, value and feeling fulfilled in your life is really important. I mean, in my own work as a CBT therapist, we look at values, and a lot of times when you have mental health difficulties and you're not able to feel fulfilled in areas of your life, that's probably when you're going to feel a little bit down. And it sounds like, I mean, coming from someone who didn't play D&D, was looking in on the inside, kind of knew it through osmosis, as you said, and now you've transitioned to this has been a major source of fulfillment for you alongside your own, hectic life. That's incredible. And also now you're being creative, again, you're challenging yourself in the uncomfortable by posting things on Patreon and writing, and I mean, that's incredible. Do you reflect on that? Do you reflect on the growth and transformation that you've had?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Like, not to be cocky where I am actually just confident, I remember chatting to a friend not that long ago, and we were talking about my actual work, and he was I don't know how it came up, and he leaned in and was like, you know you're really good at what you do. And I went, I'm fucking brilliant at what I do.
Oh, I love it.
I'm brilliant.
Yes.
Trust me, I know I'm incredible at my actual job. And that's kind of a standard I set for myself. So there are times now with D&D and I'm playing with not natural six, I can see it more.
Sure.
And I'm like, you know, I kind of know my shit. Like I know how this works now. There's still a lot of rules I don't know. I'm not an encyclopedia for the rule book. And also we changed from 2014 to 2024 halfway through, which was, but yeah, like I think they released a new class recently. They released Pugilist, and I was like, I'm gonna play that. Loved it. And I was like, I understood it, and like, I really made the most of it, and I knew how to do it. And I was like,
Wow.
I know how to play D&D.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. And I'm interested in what's the response been like to Elowen and navigating that? Because, I mean, when we spoke previously, it's nuanced and it's non-linear, I think, as anything is. Could you talk me through the response to Elowen and maybe what that's brought up for you?
Yeah, like on the whole, things are really good. YouTube's a funny old place. I spent a long time with PlayStation Access, and we were a very, very big YouTube channel at a time when YouTube was very, very big.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sort of in my late 20s, having to read those kind of comments about yourself. You know, we are talking videos that are doing 250,000, 500,000 views overnight. Like, the comments are horrendous. And I was like, I never wanted to be a YouTuber anyway. So I was like, I remember leaving all that behind and thinking, God, it's so nice that I no longer have to moderate comments about myself. And then you go back into YouTube, and I'm like, here we go again now. And you are you're not really necessarily getting comments about you, they're comments about your character. And they're really, really hard. Because that you are so in love with your character. I am enamored with Elowen.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do when I one day can't be Elowen. My brain, there are no other characters in there. Why would I create another one when I love this one? I'm so loyal to her. When you get comments that are not nice about your character, it is so deeply upsetting. It feels like a personal attack.
Because there is, you're so enmeshed when you create that character. There are parts of you that you put into it, right? And you imagine someone is then questioning that. It must feel like, well, are you questioning parts of me? Are you questioning?
I think we had a Discord comment, and someone was like, I hope she dies. And I was like,
oh my God.
Again, I'm professional, I'm a comms professional, so I was like, most things I'm like, I don't like it, delete it. It's not a democracy, I can do what I want. It's not free speech, it's our Discord channel. And I actually responded being like, no, actually, there's a rule now. That's not cool. Actually, the people who play those characters are in this Discord. You don't have to like my character.
Shocking,
We're not saying that.
Yeah.
But that is the reality of if you are putting something out there creatively and it is part of you. Now, whether that's you're playing a character or this is a thing I have made, criticism hurts. Because if you care about something, it is upsetting to hear that people don't like it, or don't like you, or don't like your interpretation of it, or the way you play it. And it can be really hard not to try and run in and be like, you're wrong, because they are entitled to feel how they want. But the two things can be true. You're also allowed to be upset by it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is tough, and you have to accept that is part of, sadly, of putting something out into the atmosphere for people to enjoy, which is they might not enjoy it, they might enjoy it all the time, or they might not understand your reasoning, because everyone would have a different reaction to different situations, and they might not like how Elowen reacts to situations, and I'm in my head going, okay, I don't like reading these comments, but to change it to appease somebody changes Elowen. That's not what we're doing.
No.
Elowen is not designed by committee, and she is supposed to be deeply flawed. This is not a Mary Sue fan fiction. They're supposed to be characters that need to be fixed. Characters who are broken, who are flawed. And you may not like that. And that's okay. It's okay for you not to like it, and it's okay for me to sit with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it still hurts because I want everyone to love her as much as I do.
I mean, I can't even imagine being at the table playing D&D and someone across from me goes, well, I hope your character dies. I mean, you would never say that.
No, you'd never. Also, because me and you would never play D&D with someone to do that.
Absolutely,
because I haven't got time. My time is like a toddler in a tiara. It's tiny and precious.
But it's quite interesting that the the lines appear blurred when it comes to being able to comment online about other people's creativity and performance, and it is just a shame. And I suppose, okay, so you said, I delete it and I really, I accept it. Is there anything else that you do to help your well-being? Is it something that you share with the rest of the group? Like, how do you guys tackle that as a team?
So that's a lot of where Ellie's diary, the Patreon stuff comes in, because a lot of it for me is as long as I vocalize it, I can get rid of it.
Okay.
So I don't like to sit with stuff. It sounds silly, but it's like, it's why I have a notebook. Because if I have my to-do list is in my head, I can't settle. So it's all written down. So the Ellie's diary for me is actually, even though I know a lot of the six-pack here and you watch it, I'm just talking to a camera. I'm literally just unburdening myself to a camera. I'm in a completely black room, because we film in a blank studio, so it's black walls, black table, black floor. And it's me, and I just look at that camera, and I just say everything I'm feeling and thinking.
That's very vulnerable, Hollie.
It is. It's weird, because at the time going, I'm just saying these things, I don't know where it's going to go. It is going out there publicly.
Yeah.
But because I've been able to channel it, I'm like, that's my reasoning.
Sure.
If you don't like it, that's somehow easier for your comment to settle, because at least I told you why I did it.
Yeah.
And how it made me feel, or what I wish I had done instead. But you play at a table with other people. You can't do what you want all the time. You have to go, and I think I talked about this in a recent one where I went, there's a thing I really wanted my character to do. And it was the wrong time, because it was somebody else's moment. And you go, no, I'm not interrupting them. But then you get comments being like, I can't believe she hasn't done this. I get that opportunity in this video to go, so the reason I didn't do it is this.
Oh, okay.
And then that helps me feel like, hey, now again, you can like it, not like it, but I've gone, but this is why I haven't.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
It also sounds like a processing space as well. Like, it's hard when you're playing D&D, and I imagine also when you're live and you're recording, things are happening, you're moving very fast. It's sometimes hard to divulge your own rationale behind certain things. You just know what you're doing, but you might not understand the deeper context. Then to be able to have a space where you're able to reflect and be like, wow, this is what that meant to me. This is the emotion that I was feeling in that moment. Yeah. That sounds so helpful.
Yeah, it is. It's just a nice opportunity to go back. And actually, it's one of the things with Natural Six is we don't have these discussions at the table while we're playing. We have a separate,
you have a
separate episode called Action Surge. So essentially, while we're playing, we never come out of the story to talk about the decisions we've made. We actually finish filming, we have a quick break, and then we go back in, and then we have a whole episode that airs where we talk about why we did what we did, or wish we had done, or what happened. So it means you get an opportunity, but you don't have to take away from the story. Because you don't want to take out to be like, oh, well, the reason I did this, because I'm not trying to defend myself.
Yeah.
I made those choices. Girl, I'm good. Like, that's right for my character. I know Elowen like the back of my hand. But it's nice to be able to just unpick that so that other people can get to know her the way I do.
Sure.
Because then I feel her actions make sense.
Yeah, and I kind of actually more so want to focus then on the positive connection. Tell me a little bit about the positivity that you've received from Elowen, whether it's, people coming up to you being like, I love her! Like, what's that like? What's the connection like?
When people are like, I absolutely love Elowen, I'm like, you have no idea what that means to me. Elowen is a human fighter. I have played the basic bitch of classics.
No. She's hot and she swings a sword.
No, literally. It was, because obviously we started playing on D&D 2014 rules, where literally the fighter is the most basic class. But it was the idea was I just didn't want to have a character I couldn't control. Too much to do, I was like, I don't want a character that's running away with me, let's keep it simple. 2024 rules fix it actually, so fighter isn't as basic, it's great. But I was like, no, I want to feel like I connect to this character. So I was like, I don't want to be a dragonborn. And I didn't really want to be an elf. I was like, no, I'm play a human fighter. I just want a character that I feel I can connect with, because that's the point of D&D, with storytelling. So if I can't connect with the character, how do I storytell? So I kept her really, really simple. But I love it when people are like, no, I love Elowen. And actually, her story is very easy to grasp. And again, a lot of the stories, I get to unpack all those things we can't do at the table, like her family history or choices she's made. And I love it when people are like, this story is great, I love seeing this side of her, I love getting to know more. And I really, really love it when people are like, I've now started playing D&D as well.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my God, that makes the biggest difference. And people are like, yeah, I was a bit scared to start as well. And I was like, isn't it fun? And like, I'm so glad I'm doing it. I'm like, exactly. I'm so glad I did it as well. I'm so glad I gave it a go. So yeah,
You're
I think-
inspiring people to do that.
But it's scary. Like if you've never played D&D before and you look at that rule book, my God, does it not make sense? It's difficult and it's hard to master. And it's not necessarily, the barrier to entry sounds low because you just need a set of dice and a paper and a pen. The barrier to entry is actually quite high because it requires you to understand how it works, and it's written in a way where you go, if my brain can't process information like this, that's the only way it's delivered. Like, the rules are the rules. So if reading them and you struggle with interpretation or any aspect, D&D can have actually quite a high barrier to entry.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually seeing somebody else go, I've never played before either, and I'm doing fine, you'll be fine too.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what you need, because when you look at something like Critical Role, for example, they are so good at what they do.
Yes.
The bar is so unobtainably high if you're a new player.
The wheels
that
are like
it's scary.
moving. It's like, you know,
It's
yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
You're like, is that what it's meant to be like? And you're like, oh my God, that is not what regular D&D is like at all. It's normally 8 people, a lot of wine and pints, making sexual innuendos and like that. It's so breezy when you are just playing at a regular D&D table. It's not like that at all. And I think as the moment people try and then that's their experience, they go, that was so much fun.
And I think it comes back to what you said earlier about having a very safe space, having rapport and trust with your group. I mean, I really empathize with what you're saying. I have dyscalculia, so for me, I really struggle with the adding aspect of D&D, and I'm like,
adding.
what do I add again? And and all of my very close friends, Lorna, Holly, my partner, all amazing at being like, okay, being patient and working with me whilst I take a little bit longer. But it's building that confidence, and I suppose your platform is showing other people that if they are new to D&D, you can absolutely grow and transform as you have done.
It is the best thing I've ever done, but it has challenged me to be more open with the kind of the world I have in my head. I am an incredible daydreamer. I love writing stories, and I love all of those things. Like, when you play a really good story-based video game?
Oh yeah.
And even when you finish playing it, your brain is still filled with the world and the stories and the character. I have always struggled to find a place to put that, and it allows me to do it. And D&D has allowed me to express a lot of that in a way that I didn't know I needed it. Like, I didn't know how badly I craved that kind of creative release in that kind of way. So my job's relatively creative, but it comes with boundaries and rules. And this doesn't. And I'm really, really happy that I told myself to do it. And I am a big believer in you should be saying yes to new stuff, even if it scares you, because you don't know where it will take you. And the reality is, if you say yes and you try something and it doesn't work, you can take yourself back out of it. You can just say no again. Tried it, not for me. And there's this idea that there's so much you can do if you just let yourself try.
What are the next adventures for you?
Oh God. So we've just gone fully independent for Natural Six. The big thing for us, this feels like that kind of pivotal year. This feels like the year where you're like, something's about to catch. I don't know what it is, and I really hope it does. So I think the thing for us is we're just going to keep our head in Reliquio. We want to keep telling stories. In fact, we're all so busy, we've now booked all of our filming dates between now and January.
Wow.
That's how busy we are. We're working on the back end of the year. We're doing some sponsorship stuff. I just want to see us keep growing. I don't want it to stop. I don't really care where it goes and what it does, as long as I can keep doing it.
Well, I mean, I have to say, your journey has been incredible to listen to. I mean, genuinely, it's inspiring. I know you're doing a lot in terms of, as I said, bringing comfortability for new players and a point of connection with Elowen as well, but also to hear about your own growth. I mean, to reflect on that is incredible. Someone that...
I mean, the amount of times I've cried in the car home. I mean, we had one episode where I was like, the character backed herself into a corner in terms of an argument. We had a discussion before we had played about what we wanted to do. I had said something, me, not Elowen, I had said something, and I was like, oh, so if this comes up, that's what I'd want to do. And that came up. So I was like, well, that's what we're going to do. And everyone else was like, no. And I was like, there's no way for her to back out of this. You have to keep going. And I ended up feeling really weirdly ganged up on. But I wasn't. That's just how I felt. That's not what happened. That's just my interpretation. And I remember being really upset. It was actually Doug that found me in the car park.
Wow.
I think I cried most of the way home. And then Harry McIntyre gets 15-minute voice notes from me because he has to fix it. You have to fix it, Harry. But yeah, it's quite the journey. But you are creating something that you want to be proud of. And I also want the people I do it with to be proud of me. But actual plays are usually filled with very talented actors. And those talented actors, even if they don't know D&D, can put on a good show. I don't know D&D, and I'm not an actor. That's also one of the things that makes Natural Six great. But it adds that pressure to be like, I don't want to let anyone down. And that, I think, is what makes us so unique in the actual play space is there are different people for different people to relate to.
And I feel like you're doing it. You're actually, I would say, reconnecting with yourself in lots of ways and rediscovering lots of things about yourself, not only through the ADHD diagnosis, the dyslexia, but now also through confidence in playing someone that's a little bit like you, but also maybe a little bit transformative in a way. Hollie, it was incredible speaking to you today, honestly. I mean, it's been absolutely fun. Can we have the biggest round of applause for the Hollie Bennett?
We usually just drink wine on my sofa and do this. It's really strange that we haven't got wine, if I'm being honest.
I know.
She just comes over and we have margs.
Yes.
And then do this, which is, because we have a lovely overlap of circles, I think we said it before.
Yes.
So obviously your partner, Tam, we've known each other for years. Tam was actually one of the camera operators on the Kickstarter episodes of Natural Six.
Yeah.
Which is a weird synergy.
Yeah.
And then
again, fate.
Fate. And then we got introduced to you, and then now we're really close.
Yeah.
But we do this chat anyway.
Yeah.
And now us three play D&D with my partner's the DM. So we see each other a lot.
We're fated. We love each other.
Fated. We should be fated. It's the power of redheads.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate it. Please feel free. I've got lots of other episodes if you want to catch up on with some amazing.
Doug's on them. You've got other
I've
Natural
got
Six members.
Doug on it. I've got Samantha Bayer. We've got Charlotte McBurney from A Plague Tale. So you can find me on YouTube at It's All in My Headset, on Instagram, sheilafables. But thank you for coming, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
So it's done, the first ever live show of It's All in My Headset. I am now in that neurodivergent state of wanting to be non-verbal in a dark room after like 7 hours in a con and spending too much money. Hollie Bennett was absolutely amazing. But I just want to say thank you for coming along today and the behind the scenes stuff. I've had a lot of fun and I'm feeling really tired. So I'm gonna get a takeaway and I'll see you for the next episode. Take care.